In today's Take a Day, I want to talk about LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers and why he can't be happy for what he's seeing from Westbrook. Now, before we get into that, though, please like, subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. We put out content every day so you won't miss any content here. Now, let's just go ahead and jump right into this. So, the last couple games with Russell Westbrook, just specifically last night versus the Thunder and the other night when they played, I believe, against the Spurs, Russell Westbrook, shows a lot of flash, a lot of signs of greatness. He always has. And he's a very, very intense, emotional type player. And, those are the type players that a lot of people like to have on their team in regards to having a ride or die type guy or a guy who's going to go down with you and fight to the end. And that's all good and well. It's just at the same time, you got to look at it from a perspective of you still have to play within your means and you still have to affect the team in good ways. And when I look at Russell Westbrook along with LeBron James probably and a lot of others who are watching Russell Westbrook, they're probably looking at Russell Westbrook and saying very, very talented guy, but very, very turnover prone. And when you look at that in its entirety, like last night, you cannot have a quadruple-double in the negative way. I mean, he literally had a triple-double, but he also had 10 turnovers with a triple-double. So you have a quadruple-double in a bad way, and you had a 26-point lead against a team in OKC who doesn't have one superstar on there. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, shout out to him. He did play really good. He's always been a very, very good, underrated type player. I definitely think he can help a team win a championship as like a sixth man or something like that, or maybe even like a third best player. I definitely think he can be a part of a championship team. I can say that. But, or I think he will be in the future, if he continues to add to his game, because he's a pretty impressive undermined or overlooked type player. I really think he is. But at the same time, the Lakers cannot lose to a team like that with a 26-point lead with Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook on the floor. I mean, you have X's amount of talent, and then you add Carmelo coming in there. You got Dwight Howard, posting up in the paint. Disrupting things. It's a lot of things it's a lot of players on your team that are just so much better in regards to the players that the OKC Thunder have, and they found a way to beat you being down 26 and found a way to come back to complete the win is highly incredible on their part, but it's very, very disappointing on the Lakers' part, because it's like, honestly, that might be the worst loss I think I've ever seen the Lakers take. I mean, honestly, I'm thinking from back Kobe, Shaq, a little bit before then, all the way up until now. I mean, that's probably the worst Lakers loss I think I've ever seen, because, I mean, I don't know if the Lakers ever had a 26-point lead on any team and lost it. I just don't see that. And, it's just very, very, mind-boggling what you're seeing of this team, because, LeBron definitely can't be happy with what he's seeing, because he's seeing a team that's having, issues that are in the forefront of everybody's eyes. I mean, it's very obvious. I mean, it's obvious that Russell Westbrook at this point doesn't fit with the Los Angeles Lakers. It's also obvious that, the camaraderie with the team is not at its highest peak. I mean, based upon what we saw with Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard the other night, it's just not a good look for the Lakers. It's just not a good look for the organization, because every time you've seen anybody in a Lakers jersey, you've never seen nobody go at it on a sideline or get in somebody's face, on camera like that on TV, because the Lakers are the show. They've always been the show, and that's the way they're always viewed, as the show. And when you look at the team that's premiered box office, pay-per-view, a show type team, a team that's really like a showcase, you don't expect to see things like that, and they just have more pride and class as an organization rather than having things like that happen on their sidelines, because they're so used to being a winning organization to have things go their way. Things like that looks unprecedented and very unheard of. So when you take that into account, those are intangibles. Those may be little things to you, but at the same time, they're probably big things to somebody like LeBron James, because LeBron doesn't like rift. He doesn't like like all that. He likes chemistry. He likes guys to do their job, and he likes guys with high basketball IQ. And when you combine those things in the players around you, you don't have mishaps like that on the sidelines too often, if ever, because everybody understands, listen, everybody makes mistakes, but at some point, everybody's accountable for what they do, but we have to grow together. And that's the mentality, and that's the demeanor that LeBron plays with. And knowing that and saying that and also seeing him play that way throughout his career, you know, it's got to be very disturbing to see what he's seeing from his team in regards to how they're playing. And, you know, even without him on the floor, and the mistakes that Russell Westbrook is actually making in regards to turnovers, that's going to make the Lakers very, very susceptible to losing to a lot of teams that they really actually should beat. It's just very, very mind-boggling. I'm pretty sure LeBron James in his mind is thinking, I'm not sure if this is going to work out, Russell Westbrook, but I'm going to ride it out and see as far as it can go. But if the losing continues, something's going to have to be done about the situation. What's going to be done? I don't know. I mean, who knows? We have to see how that goes. But there's one thing going to have to be done. You know, Russell Westbrook is going to have to find a way to, you know, neutralize his game some. I mean, it's hard to really tell a player who's a superstar to neutralize their game or change it in some type of way or make adjustments to it when he's been playing this way for over 8 or 10 years and he really doesn't know any other way to play. It's going to be really hard to ask a player to do that, especially a player who's a household name, a superstar in the NBA, who's been, you know, MVP and who's been to a finals before and who's played on the highest level like Russell Westbrook. It's going to be hard to really get him to play any different, but for some reason, I think, you know, LeBron is thinking it. And at the same time, I know the Lakers are thinking they're going to have to find a way to utilize his talent to help them win games, because if he's getting a triple-double and they go into overtime with a team like the San Antonio Spurs, who don't have the first superstar on there. Last time I checked, Kawhi Leonard's not there. Last time I checked, there's no Tony, you know, Parker or Ginobili, you know, there's no Tony, Manu, or Tim Duncan on there. I mean, so there really should be, you know, no reason why the Lakers can't beat a team like that. And matter of fact, beat them in regulation. It really shouldn't even take to no overtime. And this is what I'm saying. It's really horrible. And like I said last night, you know, to have a 26-point lead against a team like OKC, who really didn't have no business, you know what I'm saying, coming back, winning that game the way they did, but they fought to the end and they kept chipping away at the lead, and they really, you know, turned their offense up. And the Lakers really actually start, you know, playing like they were panicking, just shooting threes and taking ill-advised shots. And it really came back to hurt them, and it cost them in the end, which, you know, resulted in an L rather than a W. You know, they didn't get the win. But these are things that LeBron James looks at, and LeBron James has been a winning type player in this league for years. And I can tell you, the winning mentality he has, he can't be happy with what he's seeing, because the game they did win against the Spurs, I mean, LeBron didn't play. You know what I'm saying? And Russell Westbrook had a really good game, but it's almost like empty calories to a degree. If you don't win or play like that or have that type of impact in the game while LeBron James is on the floor, then there is no purpose. There is no point. It's pointless. You see what I'm saying? It's all for nothing. Unless you can mimic that with LeBron and AD on the floor along with yourself and Russell Westbrook playing at that level. That's the only way. That's the only way the points and the stats really mean anything. But last night was just a telltale sign of what is to come with Russell Westbrook if they don't find a way to tame him. Because if the Lakers don't find a way to tame Russell Westbrook, I mean, you might see a few more games this season with close to 10 turnovers. You just might see it. I mean, and I don't think you should be surprised if you do see it, simply because Russell Westbrook just doesn't have a filter. You know what I'm saying? He plays one way, and that's just the way he's wired. And, you know, I've said before, when you have players like that play that way, it can disrupt chemistry, but it can also disrupt everything you're trying to do in regards to winning and becoming a championship team. But hey, that's my take on the situation. Leave any comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Do you think LeBron is, you know, weary about the situation with Russell Westbrook and how the team is playing? You think anything can be done about it or fixed? Leave any comments as always. And hey, Cali out.